from coloratedcinematics.com, and today I will be showing you how to create a nice BALLIN intro in Adobe After Effects. But first I wanted to tell something to my subscribers. If you are subscribed to this channel and you don't get notifications from my videos or you don't see them in your feed, it's a common problem that YouTube is having right now. Well, actually YouTube is doing it on purpose, but if you still want to see all my videos, well, I upload daily, that's one thing, but if you want to get a notification when I upload a video, you can go to my channel. Next to the subscribe on the right top you can see in like an alarm bell, and if you click on there you can select to see the notifications for this channel. So if you want that, there you go. And apart from that, if you don't wish to follow this tutorial, like always, you can buy the project files with the link in the description, or if you want to support the YouTube channel. And yeah, let's get started with the tutorial for those that do want to follow this tutorial. And yeah, see you in After Effects. Alright, so here we are in After Effects, and I will be showing you how to recreate that BALLIN intro, which is pretty cool. It's a clean intro, really easy to create, but sometimes the most simplistic things are the best things to use in your projects. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I will do is create a new composition, main comp, and I will press OK. Just make sure it's full HD, around 10 seconds long, and yeah, just fit it up to 100% right here. Then I will go right here and pick my rectangle tool, and I will just make sure that it has a stroke but no fill. So for the fill, we'll click on the actual name fill, cancel this, go to fill right here, and just make sure you don't have any fill here. And for the stroke, we're going to pick a white color with a width of something like 10. Now we're going to drag out a rectangle just like this. And of course, if you hold space, you can actually reposition it and put it in place around here. Depending on whatever you want, you can release it right here. Now we can go to the Align tool here, the Align tab. If you don't see that window, Align right here. And we can just center this out so that you're sure that it's 100% centered. Once you have done that, we can actually toggle it down, everything, all the settings for that shape. We can open it up again. And open up the rectangle here. And open up the transform. Well, I will make this a little bit bigger here, and we have a few options. If we go for the path and the stroke, you can see a lot of cool things here that we can change. For example, you can add dashes here. Stroke width, you can still change it right here, so maybe 7 is a little bit better, or no, something like 12 maybe. 12 is okay. Here you can select the direction of your path. I will change it, so we'll make it reverse here. And then right here I will also add something. So you have a bunch of things that you can add, which is pretty cool. I will go for trim path, and if I click on that, I can animate the path length here. So if we open that up, we can go for the start. We can animate it like this. So I will go 100% at the start, and at the beginning of my timeline I will click on the stopwatch to create a new keyframe, and then I will move something like 2 seconds, and I will make this 0. So now we have this animation. Really simple. I will select my 2 keyframes, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, and then I will jump into my graph editor right here, and I will make sure that I'm using the edit speed graph here. And I will start off quite fast, and well, maybe also a little bit slower, and just end really slow. So we'll drag this in here so we have a curve like this. And I'm going to press 0, I will get something like this, which is pretty cool. I want it to end right here, so what I can do is offset it here. You can see you can offset it, and actually we will go to the beginning of my timeline, click on the keyframe, well, on the stopwatch for offset, and around 5 seconds I will also animate it just a little bit. And now we're going to see that it's also moving a little bit here, so it gives it a little bit more life, as you can see. So now we have something like this. Okay, that's great. We'll close everything down, close the graph editor, and now we can actually add our text. So go to the text tool, and I'm going to write something like tolerated cinematics. I will use the font Lato, so I'll search that font. And for my first part, I will make it bold here, and the second part, I will make it light. There we go. So now we have a nice design title. I will move my title right here in the middle of my rectangle, and I will make it a little bit bigger. Make sure it starts from the center, around here, and then also align it like so, and just maybe put it 1 pixel above so it's nicely centered in here. So now we have our text in the middle. What we'll do is go to the beginning of my timeline, click on the text, go to Effects and Presets, search for text, close it down, well, search for text, text. Okay, there we go. So now we have the folder text. I'm going to close this down and open it up again, and then you will see all the folders that you have right here. Open up animate in, and what I want to use is actually the characters fade in, so fade up characters, that's right here. I'm going to drag that on my text, and now my characters are going to, well, actually fade up. I didn't want that. I want them to be random, so let's search a little bit further. Random fade up right here. I'm going to drag this onto my text. Now I have something like this, which is pretty cool. It can be a little bit faster, so I will press U on the keyboard while this layer is selected. Just move this to 1 second. Also for the shape, I'm going to move this a little bit faster. So now we have something like this. Our text pops up randomly and our mask gets made, which is pretty cool. I'm going to duplicate my text layer, and I'm going to open up the text right here so we see source text. I'm going to do the same thing for the other text. Well, actually, yeah. It's not going to work like this. Okay, so I will alt click on the second text layer, alt click on the stopwatch. I'm going to pick with the source text. So now what it's going to do is if you change this text, it's going to automatically change that other text to the same text. That's basically it. But we don't want it to be right here, so we'll scale it up a little bit. Like so, for example, move it down. We can actually just lock it so we don't accidentally click on it when we are trying to change the text right here. So now if I click on here, it's going to be the background text, and if I change this, you will see that the other text also changes. Right here on this text, well, before we actually lock it, we need to actually also random fade up here. So add a random fade up, and now we're going to get something like this. You can actually press U on the keyboard and just disable the keyframes, so we don't need any keyframes. We just want the text to be there, and that has a little bit of a part of this text. I'm going to scale it up, maybe position it right over here, and I'm going to lower the opacity to something like 10. Then go to Effects and Presets, Blur and Sharpen, add a Gaussian blur here, and I'm going to add like 50% blur, for example, maybe the opacity to something like 5, depending on what you want. And maybe you can just animate it slightly with a random fade up. So, well, actually we have the random fade up. Let's search it. That's right here. And actually what I want to do is from 10 to 30, for example. And now it's going to fade up really slowly in the background, and we have some animation going on there. I'm going to duplicate that text and just position it right over here, and then also open it up and maybe play with animation here. Well, actually we have two animators, so we can delete the first one, I think, or okay, we're going to work with the second one. Doesn't really matter right now, but I want to change the randomness. So if I open this up, we can actually offset it here. Go into advanced and just change the random seed right here so we get something different on the bottom. So now you can position it a little bit better depending on whatever you prefer. So, but now we have some life in the background while this is happening as well, so that's also pretty cool. What I will do now is just duplicate my my shape layer here actually, and I will go and make it a little bit thicker. So I will jump into the content rectangle stroke and change the stroke to something like 15 or maybe 17. And then I will jump into my other rectangle. We'll go to the rectangle, also the stroke, and change the color to a different color. So maybe a yellow kind of color, something like this. And if we're going to animate this, we're not going to see anything because it's actually the same timing. We just want this to offset a little bit so that we can see the beginning. And then right here, you will see the beginning. But because we're almost at the end, you're not going to see a big difference. But like, for example, right here, you can see that it's pretty long, and now we have this kind of animation. And immediately, because of the color that you add, it gives a lot more vibrance to everything. So you can go ahead and change your text maybe right here. Well, actually, see, you have to log them, and then you can just click on this text and nothing gets broken then again. We can also pick a yellow color for the text, for example, and that's also pretty cool. Now we have something like this. So it's really simple to recreate this part. And also for the next part, actually, I'm going to toggle my switches and make everything a 3D, and lock them, 3D layer, and lock them again. And then I will add a camera to my scene here. So add a camera, 50 or 35, click OK. Press P on the keyboard for that position of the camera, click on the stopwatch for that camera, and also move that keyframe to around 3 seconds, and then go to the beginning and just make sure that you well, zoom in actually. So now we zoom in and we get this, so that's pretty cool. Maybe zoom in a little bit more so we actually really fly through this. Okay, and then we're going to, for the position, go to the graph editor, also change the speed value and show graph editor. There we go. Okay, and just well, actually I want it to be right here. Okay, I must have made a mistake with the animation here, but yeah, just make sure that you actually zoom out here. Select this and just drag it in like so, and at the beginning we can keep it pretty simple like this. And now we get something like this. So it's really fast at the beginning. Well, it speeds up right here, it's at its peak, and then it's going to slow down really nicely, so it's integrating a little bit better. It's coming smooth, well, it's coming to a smooth stop, so that's actually what we're after. And yeah, apart from that, it's basically it. In my preview, you could see that I use a little bit of glitch. That glitch is made with the Epic Glitch intro, for example. I would definitely recommend you to check it out if you haven't already, to add a little bit of glitch effects to give it a little bit more life even. But yeah, that's a pretty cool result, I think. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give it a like, and also subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, goodbye.